Silver Linings Playbook stars Brandy Cooper, Jennifer Lawrence, Robert De Niro and Chris Taker, and it was a film that I first saw like the promotional, like the release poster for it, and I was like, quite interesting. And then I saw like a trailer about a couple of weeks after that, and it's like, again, quite interesting. I hadn't really heard much about this film, didn't know this film was coming out, and when I went to go and see it, it was like a couple of days ago. It was the only first like early showing that I could get, and it was sold out. I was genuinely surprised. I was like, this must be really good if it is sold out. So the second time, like the next day, like I was working on that day, luckily I pre-booked my ticket and it was sold out again. So was really looking forward to seeing if this film was really any good, and what I can report is it's not good. It's just amazing. So our story starts with Brandy Cooper. It's in his medical facility because he's been diagnosed with bipolar, and he's got it quite bad. And he's been diagnosed after he had a sort of mental breakdown with his wife, because his wife was kind of cheating on him. So after like 8 or so months, he's been released from it. He's now living with his parents. But Robert De Niro also has his kind of like wee bit of a problem. Like I think he's got a bit of a case of OCD, but he also sort of bets on the like ego games, you know, because he wants to start like a restaurant, but he believes that he needs his son there to sort of help him. And along the way, Bradley meets Jennifer Lawrence, who having problems with her own, and you know, dealing with things that are quite more personal for her level. They two kind of really hit it off really well, and it's all about trying to sort of deal with problems that you have, and also in trying to sort of not like sort of cure, but trying to get sort of used to it in a way. And it's really good. Firstly, I'm really going to talk about the sort of the tone of the whole movie. It's kind of like a sort of a drama, but it's more like a comedy drama, and it mixes in really well. I mean, normally with comedy, like you can go over the top with it, and sometimes when you're trying to be serious and they add like funny lines, they do tend to go a bit over the top, and you think they really shouldn't have put that in. This mixes it really well. Like there are scenes where it will be funny, but it knows when it needs to be serious enough. You know, it knows when it needs to be serious, and then it knows when it needs to be funny. And it does get quite sort of emotional in a way. Like, not kind of like near the end, but kind of like throughout nearly the whole film, because it's a journey for Bradley Cooper throughout this whole film, because he's trying to deal with this situation, and trying to deal with the fact he's got this problem, and you know, the way that life's now sort of treated him in a way. You know, and you know, stuff with his dad, and then he meets Jennifer Lawrence. So the tone of it works really well. Now, the acting, I've got to say, is top notch. Really good. Brandy Cooper again shows that why he is a really good actor, and not just, you know, an actor that's just hanging on the sort of hangover fame. Jennifer Lawrence was surprisingly really good in this. Like, I only really noticed her since like X-Men First Class, and obviously, you know, the Hunger Games, but she's managed to break away from roles that would, you know, she would still kind of be treated like a sort of a teenager. And she's shown that she's more like a sort of a young adult, and her problems are really good, and her story is probably the reason why she does what she does sort of in this film, and it's very smart, I find, the way to do it. Robert De Niro, I honestly think he might get nominated for Best Supporting Actor, because he does really well, and he brings some really good lines, and it's really good to see how he's trying to sort of reconnect with his son when in dealing with this sort of problem, because it is, you know, a big problem here, and also trying to deal with the fact with his sort of wee problem, trying to sort of, because he's betting on these like ego games, because he's trying to sort of get this restaurant up and running, because he got denied for his pension. So it's quite interesting how he's dealing with his own problems, but also with his son's problems. And then, surprise, I think it's really kind of like the surprise of the whole film is Chris Taker. Chris Taker, you know, probably mostly well known for playing the Rush Hour films, but I thought that he was going to be over the top, because, you know, he's quite an over the top kind of a guy. this one he really wasn't over the top, and I think it was smart that he did that. You know, because he played it kind of, it was funny, it's cool, but he had a real good sense of humour, and he had when you see him, it's almost as if like you're laughing because, I'm not going to really sort of spoil why you're going to be laughing every time you can see him on the scene, but it's very smart, it's very clever. I think the director of this, he also did like The Fighter. I think he's done himself well again. This film surprised me so much that it's like one of the best films I have seen this year. All in all, I have actually nothing bad to say about it. I love every single minute of it. I'm really going to go and see this again. I think it deserves another showing, and for that I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Now, I think this year for films has been really good so far. I mean, I thought like the summer was going to be a bit bad, but it was pretty decent. But now like some good films are coming out and they're really good, top notch, and it's really hard to decide, you know, how good they are. But this one is, I would say, is almost my favourite film of this year. Yeah, almost my favourite.